Now we're going to move into NF4, which is multiplying fractions. One of the differences between multiplying fractions and adding and subtracting fractions is when you multiply fractions, the denominators do not have to be the same. When you multiply fractions, you're simply going to take the numerators or the top number. So for this problem, I'm going to have a 3 for one of my numerators, and I'm going to have a 4 for the other one. And I'm going to mix up my denominators. So the denominator here will be 6. The denominator here will be 10. When I'm multiplying fractions, all I need to do is multiply across. So 3 times 4 will give me 12. And then I'm going to do the denominator. 6 times 10 will give me 60. So the answer to 3 6 times 4 tenths will give me 12 sixtieths. When dealing with fractions, we don't always just stop once we have our answer. We have to simplify it. And with this particular fraction, we can simplify it, or meaning bring it down to its lowest terms. In order to bring a fraction down to its lowest terms, we have to look for the greatest common factor. So in this particular case, we're going to take 12, since that's our numerator, and we're going to write the factors for 12 down. First, I'm going to start with 1. 1 times 12. I have 2 times 6. And then I have 3 times 4. Those will be all of my factors for 12. Now I have to go to the denominator and get the factors for that number. Start with 1. 1 times 60. 2 times 30. 3 times 20. 4 times 15. 5 times 12. 6 times 10. Those will be my factors for 60. The next step is we have to look through the numbers we have here and the numbers we have here and look for the greatest common factor, meaning we're looking for the largest number that we can find on both sides. So they both have a 1, but then they also have a 2, and 2 is greater than 1, so 1 can't be the greatest factor. They both have a 3, and they both have a 4, so those can't, 2 and 1 can't be the greatest common factor. If we keep going, they both have 6s. So 6 right now is the greatest common factor until we keep going and look on the side. We have 1 times 12, and we have a 12 here also. So now we have to take that 12, and we're going to divide both the numerator and the denominator by 12, because it's our greatest common factor, and this is how we'll simplify it. 12 divided by 12 is 1, or you can just simply look at your factors. Whatever is multiplied by 12 is what it would be once it's divided by that same number. And then 60 divided by 12, you have it right here. 12 times 5 is 60. So 60 divided by 12 would be 5. So the answer to 3 6 times 4 tenths is 12 sixtieths, but 12 sixtieths can be simplified to 1/5. All right, I still have the same problem. I have 3 6 times 4 tenths, and we have the answer as 12 sixtieths. But let's say you don't know all of the factors. You're not that well versed in division, and you struggle with that actual standard. You can always look at the two numbers. The numerator is 12 and the denominator is 60. These two numbers are even. So we can always start with the number 2 and divide the numbers by 2. And just keep going until we can't go any further. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. 60 divided by 2 is 30. You still have two even numbers. You can divide it again by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 30 divided by 2 is 15. Now these numbers are no longer even. But if you know your factors or you know your 3 multiplication tables, you know that 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 4 is 12, and 3 times 5 is 15. So now we can divide both of these numbers by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 15 divided by 3 is 5. So again, we have 3 6 times 4 tenths equaling 12 over 60, or 12 sixtieths. And once we simplify it, we still get 1/5. Okay, now we're going to multiply a fraction by a whole number. We're going to start with our fraction. Our fraction will be, let's go back to 3/5. And our whole number will be 6. The instructions for multiplying fractions were to simply multiply the numerators and then the denominators. With the whole number, you don't see a denominator, but under every whole number is a denominator, and that denominator is 1. Because if you recall, we said that this means 6 divided by 1, and 6 divided by 1 is simply 6. So now all we have to do is multiply across. So I have 3 times 6, which will give me 18. And then I have 5 times 1, which will give me 5. Now I have 18 over 5, or 18 divided by 5. I can take these numbers, because that means 18 divided by 5. And we should know that 5 can go into 18 3 times, because you have 5 times 1, 5, 5 times 2 is 10, 5 times 3 is 15. So I put my 3 there, 5 times 3 gives me 15. I'll subtract my 15 from 18, leaving me with 3. So I have 3 with the remainder of 3, or 3 pieces. I have 3 pieces, but 5 is my whole. So 18 divided by 5 will be 3 wholes with 3 pieces remaining, and 5 is my denominator. So 3/5 times 6 is 18 over 5, which is 3 3/5. Okay, let's do another fraction times a whole number. So now I have 2 tenths times 5. If I'm multiplying fractions, again, my rule is I multiply the numerators and then I multiply the denominators. But here I do not have a denominator, at least it's not written. But under every whole number is the number 1, again, because 5 divided by 1 is still 5. Now we multiply across. My 2 numerators are 2 and 5. 2 times 5 will give me 10. And then I go to my denominators. 10 times 1 is 10. So 2 tenths times 5 will give me 10 tenths, which means 10 divided by 10. And 10 divided by 10 will give me 1. Okay, now let's try a word problem. If 3/4 of the class are boys and 2/3 of the boys are wearing tennis shoes, what fraction of the class are boys wearing tennis shoes? So the first fraction that I had was 3/4. And then it said 2/3 of those boys were wearing tennis shoes. So now I have 3/4 times 2/3. Again, I'm multiplying my numerators. I have 3 times 2, which will give me 6. And then I have 4 times 3, which will give me 12. So the fraction that I have is 6/12. 3/4 times 2/3 will give me 6/12. But I believe we can simplify. We can write down the factors of 6. I have 1 times 6, and then I have 2 times 3. Now I need to write down the factors of 12. 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. If I'm looking throughout my numbers, the largest number that I have in common would be 6. So I'm going to divide both my numerator and my denominator by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 12 divided by 6 is 2. So the final answer for 3/4 times 2/3 will give me 1/2.
I can't do, there ain't nothing I can't do. There ain't nothing I can't do. There ain't nothing I can't do. I can't do, there ain't nothing I can't do. There ain't nothing I can't do. Look, it ain't nothing I can't do. Might walk on hard, I won't go still. Gotta go hard, but I ain't gotta do it myself. I can't do, there ain't nothing I can't do. Feeling like I can't lose, ain't nothing I can't do.